My name is Charlie, I'm 33 years old, and I make YouTube videos for a living. So I actually got started back in 2008. I had a YouTube channel that was dedicated to music covers. I'd play instruments like piano and guitar, and I'd have people like my sister sing. And that's basically how I got started in the YouTube space. I did that for a bunch of years, all throughout high school and college. And then back in 2017, 2018, that's when I started shifting my content towards personal finance and business. A lot of you guys watching might have seen my main channel, which is the current channel you're watching. But over the last few years, we built this whole media business that runs about 50 different channels. We have channels in a ton of different niches. So for example, business formation, website building, e-com, SaaS. We have a couple music channels, course reviews, GoHighLevel, VPNs, recruiting, crypto, insurance, personal finance. We also have a ton of different channels in other languages. Yeah, it's really all over the place. So this is a question I get all the time. It's how much money do you actually make as a YouTuber? And I will say my business is quite different than most YouTubers' businesses. Most YouTubers have one or two channels and they focus on one type of content. For me, we do content on a bunch of different things, but I'd say that the glue, like the thing that all these channels have in common, is that they're all educational. They all teach things. And so yeah, I don't really make much like viral entertainment content. I know my strengths, and that's more towards actually teaching people things. In terms of numbers, the media company does about $300,000 per month on average. Some months can dip to maybe the mid 200s, some months into the high 300s. So there definitely is a bit of range, and it can get a little bit scary at times. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the growth of the company. I started making seven figures back in, I think, 2021. We stayed at around $1.5 million a year for a couple years, and then slowly we've been growing the company, adding new channels, and then finding new income sources. So in terms of how the income is broken down, I'd say 80% of it is through affiliate marketing. This is basically when we have links in our description, and if people use those links, we make a small commission. About 10% is from ad revenue. Then we have like another 8% from brand deals. We don't do these that often. And then maybe 2% from other miscellaneous revenue sources, such as course sales and stuff like that. So yeah, it's heavily affiliate marketing based. This is basically what I consider my specialty with YouTube. And it really pairs well with the educational tutorial style video. I think a lot of other creators, they rely heavily on brand deals and AdSense. For me, I don't really like doing that since that can vary a ton. I really prefer performance-based, where we're not getting a flat fee for a video, but we only make money when the video actually converts to sales for a particular company. So it's basically a win-win. And then what I found is that the income cap for a lot of these videos is way, way higher than if I were to have done a brand deal. Yes, sometimes we'll make a video and not make much money or anything at all, but sometimes a single video can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Essentially, I never want to know exactly how much a video is going to make. That's been the formula for me, and I know it is a little bit risky, it's a little bit more scary, but I think that's why we've been able to monetize so well. So going back to my childhood, I always sort of knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I had a lemonade stand, I sold candy in school, I bought and resold stuff online, but eventually my parents wanted me to become a doctor. I went through the whole like pre-med route, didn't get into med school, tried a bunch of different things, and then finally decided I was gonna work for myself. Since then, I've done pretty much every single side hustle you can think of. Photography, video, tutoring. I was a tutor for many years in LA. I started a marketing company, I started a clothing brand, and basically the list goes on. I always had a passion for personal finance since I grew up in such a frugal household, and that really got me excited to make money, invest money, grow my money. So essentially, I paired that with my love for video and photography. I started actually just posting content online. I started doing Instagram and TikTok, and gradually I shifted to more long form content on YouTube. Today, my media company has over 50 people. We have a combination of project managers, of thumbnail editors, video editors. I have my COO. We have a ton of YouTube hosts that help host some of these channels. We have a website team, an AI person, and I know I'm missing some people, but yeah, the team's really grown over the years. Almost all of my team is overseas, and I've always wanted a remote business like this that didn't really have an office that people had to come to. I love being able to work from home. And so yeah, our whole team is async. We don't have that many meetings, and most of our communication is run on Slack. So for anyone that wants to make a YouTube channel and start making money, here is my advice. Try not to get into it just because you want to make money. Yes, you can absolutely make money with YouTube, but that should not be your primary goal at the start. When I started my channel, I had zero idea that I could actually make money from it. I simply wanted to create videos because I was passionate about it. I was passionate about the topics I was talking about. And so yeah, the first, 50 videos didn't make any money. After I started building a base and building some viewership, that's when I started getting into monetization and all that stuff. Another big tip I have is don't try to just make viral videos. Playing the algorithm game is really, really difficult. I think most people are not going to be able to, create a hugely viral channel that gets millions of views on every single video. For me, I knew that that was not my strong suit, and I'd do a lot better just teaching things that I was passionate about. So if there's anything that you really like, that you are an expert at, that you love teaching, maybe consider starting a channel about that. There's a lot of money in the educational YouTube space, and there are so many different ways that you can actually monetize your channel. So of course, there's AdSense, there's gonna be brand deals, there's affiliate marketing, and then probably the best way for most people to monetize their channel is by selling their own product or service. Using that YouTube channel as a lead gen source, a way to generate leads for their own business. I have channels with just a few thousand subscribers that make more money than a lot of these other channels out there with hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers. It's really all about the type of viewer, the type of content, and also what you pair that content with, right? Probably a service or some type of business. So the best niches in terms of the AdSense revenue, where you can make, let's say, $50 to $200 per 1,000 views, are gonna be personal finance, right? Maybe insurance, SaaS, different types of softwares, business formation, anything relating to business services. E-commerce is a big one. So dropshipping, Amazon FBA, all that type of stuff. Credits, VPNs, website building, technology, self-improvement. That's just a list that I can think of right now, but there are a ton of high-paying niches out there. So basically how the business works is we have a big team of YouTube hosts. They're mostly based in the US. We pay these people a flat fee to basically script and film our videos. Once they film, they'll upload the footage to our team of editors. And basically, I have a team of project managers that help to run a bunch of these channels. They're gonna coordinate with the video editors, the thumbnails, all those contractors to get that video created, made, revisions, all that stuff, and finally posted onto the YouTube channel. A lot of these channels also have their own channels in different languages. So basically what we do is we have a team of people in different countries like France, Indonesia, Philippines, Russia, Germany. And these people are basically gonna go through all these videos, they're gonna translate them, and they're gonna do a manual voiceover. After that, they'll edit the native language into the actual video with like captions and subtitles and stuff like that. They're gonna manage the whole channel, like the new titles, the new description, the new thumbnail, all that stuff. And so I find that this is the cleanest way to actually have these language channels and be able to reach a more international audience. Yes, YouTube's dub feature is okay. It's really not that good if you compare it to an actual voiceover. And so for me to keep the quality high and to actually have it sound like a real person, I'm actually paying people to do these voiceovers manually. So we use a ton of different tools within the company, but I'd say some of the more standout ones are gonna be GoHighLevel. GoHighLevel is how we run the backend and funnels and stuff for a lot of our different projects. Frame.io is a tool that we use to actually store a lot of these video files. We can make revision comments on that, and I love the software so much. ClickUp is how we do all of our content calendars. So for every single channel that we have a separate ClickUp calendar. We built out tons and tons of automations that basically streamline the whole video production process from idea to actual posting. Of course, we use tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ. Those are really important for a lot of YouTubers to have. Slack is where most of our communications are. We also do some communication within WhatsApp. Notion is where we basically plan out and script a lot of our courses. I use ChatGPT a lot to help with script ideation, helping create outlines. And yeah, every one of you guys watching this should always have a ChatGPT app open on your computer and use it multiple times per day. So the way that I find affiliate offers is through a bunch of different affiliate networks. So Impact Radius, Awin, PartnerStack, these are some of the more popular affiliate networks out there. You simply join it and you can see a bunch of different brands and companies all in one place. A lot of the affiliates that I work with, I have a personal relationship with them. So this is very important because you're likely gonna get much higher affiliate rates. And you also get a lot of support from them, since if you win, they also win, right? So I've spent the last few years really building my network. I attend networking events like Affiliate Summit. And yeah, I work with hundreds of different affiliates, and basically the 80-20 rule applies here, right? 80% of my revenue are gonna be from 20% of my affiliates. The way that you figure out which affiliates work for your channel is by simply creating a lot of content, seeing what works, and then simply tweaking. Now let's talk about omnipresence. I think this is a concept that not a lot of people are able to do in the content creation space, but essentially what this means is you need to be everywhere, right? If you're creating content, there is so much you can do with that one piece of content to basically repurpose for other platforms. You can repurpose content for Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn even, there's YouTube Shorts, and yeah, if you're not on all these platforms, you're limiting the reach of your content. And so essentially I built out systems that help me put out and repurpose a lot of this content on all these different platforms. There's literally no way I'd be able to do all this myself. I only have 24 hours in a day. And so yeah, the team building has been extremely important. Learning how to actually hire and delegate people has been one of the biggest things I've learned over the last 5 years. My first hire was a video editor. After that, I got a personal assistant here who's now worked up to become my COO, my Chief Operating Officer. From there on, I built up a team of project managers and video editors and thumbnail people, all from overseas. I'd say about a third to half of my team is currently in Indonesia. That's one of my favorite countries to hire in. And interestingly enough, that's why I also started my overseas recruiting company called Paired. That sister company has helped me hire some of the most amazing team members that I could ever ask for. I have another channel, Charlie Talks Business, where I really go into depth on some of the team structures. So yeah, if you want to watch that video, I'll link it down below. So for my typical schedule, I basically wake up at around 6 a.m. usually. I'll do a little morning routine, probably hit the gym. A lot of times I'll go out to breakfast with my girlfriend or something like that, and then I get the day started with work. My work schedule varies a lot. No single day is gonna be the same. Some days I'm filming videos, some days I'm just doing a lot of planning, some days I'm in meetings. And yeah, I really enjoy the freedom as well as the fact that no day is the same. I think the time freedom, the location freedom is one of my favorite parts of doing business for myself. I've never really liked having a boss. I really didn't like being told what to do or having to come to an office to work. So that's probably one of my favorite parts about entrepreneurship. That's basically why I've designed my business the way I have. Now, in terms of how I actually manage the team, because yes, a lot of stuff is going on every single day. We're also balancing a lot of different projects and things. And so it can definitely get pretty crazy. So I have a CEO dashboard. It's basically a Google Sheet that my team prepares for me. And by looking at that sheet, I can see all of the different KPIs. I can see all the output for the different channels, the number of videos going out, and I can get a really good idea of what's happening in the business on a day-to-day basis. We also have most of our team do end-of-day reports, so often I'll review those. At the start of each month, I also set KPIs for the team, so these are numbers that we want to hit, not in terms of revenue, but in terms of actual output. I'm a big believer that you should actually just measure output rather than revenue, because revenue, there's a ton of different factors that could influence it, whereas output is a very concrete thing that we actually are in pretty much 100% control of. Most of the direct communication that I do is with my COO. He's gonna communicate most of that information to our team of project managers, and then the project managers are gonna communicate that stuff with all the other contractors. It's really streamlined, and it's really what allows us to basically create a new channel and have it going with new content in just a couple weeks. We're always starting new channels, trying new things, and actually a lot of these channels will fail and just never make money. But a huge concept I live by is doing volume, doing something consistently to find the actual winner. I know most of the things are not gonna be worth it in the end, but I need to do them to actually identify the winners. I think that's a mindset that a lot more people should have in their life. This makes it so that you don't fear failure. It allows you to fail a lot and realize that that is actually just part of the process. So in terms of how I reinvest back into the business, I'd say most of it is actually into the team, right? Building the team, finding new people, and with that comes a pretty big payroll. We also invest a lot into equipment, so a lot of filming equipment. I rent out big spaces to have studios. And yeah, content's interesting because you can always have better and better gear, but that's not what I recommend for most people starting out. It's really cool because you can get started building a YouTube channel with just your phone. iPhones are great nowadays and the picture quality is definitely good enough for most channels. But yeah, I'm a huge believer of reinvesting company money back into the team, growing the team, as well as paying for services that help us make more money. So where do I see the next 5 to 10 years of content creation? So in my opinion, AI is getting really, really good. It's getting scarily good, and it's definitely going to affect the content economy. I do think that platforms such as YouTube are really going to have to start throttling AI content. It's just gonna get too easy to create content, and there's just gonna be like billions of hours of content made every single day to the point where it's gonna be very hard to actually find good, genuine content. If you can still make genuine content in 2026 and beyond, that's gonna give you a huge advantage because most people are gonna go the easy route and just create a bunch of content that's like super AI-y. And so if your content can actually be good, be made from an actual person, and have a story or something to actually connect with the viewer, that's gonna give you a huge advantage. Content tools are gonna get better and better, so pretty much anyone's not gonna have an excuse for saying, oh, I don't have time to edit, I don't have time to do this. A lot of these things are gonna get outsourced with a lot of these tools, and it's gonna lower the moat for content creation a ton. There's definitely gonna be more competition over the next 5 to 10 years. There's no doubt about that. But I think it's gonna be extremely easy to stand out if you are genuine with your content. The easiest way to find video ideas is by just browsing your home screen. So I'll probably spend maybe 30 to 60 minutes per week just going through my homepage on YouTube, seeing what videos pop up in the algorithm and taking inspiration from those videos. Obviously, a lot of my content is also search-based, so I'll search up a very general term, look at what videos are ranking for that term, and basically put those on my content calendar. My counterintuitive advice would just be to not chase views, only chase views from qualified people. So yeah, if your goal is to make money with YouTube, don't try and create content that gets a lot of general views from everyone. The more specific, the more narrow your audience is, the more money making ability there is. And you do that basically through affiliate marketing or having your own product that relates to that content. For example, on my recruiting channel, 200 views there could make more revenue than a video on a general channel with 10 million views. And the reason for this is because 200 qualified views could turn into 1 or 2 actual paying clients. And if a client is paying at least a few $1,000s, you can quickly see how the maths. So I'd say that the reason why my videos tend to do pretty well is because I'm good at explaining things in a somewhat concise way. I had a lot of years of experience actually tutoring kids, and I think that really helped me be able to take more complex topics and be able to simplify it for people. That's what makes my videos a bit more easy to understand, in my opinion. If you want to make educational videos, you need to explain concepts clearly. And one rule I go by is if an 8th grader does not understand the content, then it's too complex, right? That's why you need to dumb everything down a little bit because it makes it easier for literally everyone to understand. Another reason why I am successful with my videos is because I am very consistent. A lot of people will make content for 1 or 2 months, they don't see the results that they want to see, and then they just stop doing it. You need to be consistent in anything you do. This doesn't relate just to YouTube, it relates to any business you start. And so yeah, you need to be really patient with the results, but you need to be impatient with the actual action. The action of filming, the action of actually putting out output. How much money did I start with? So I was lucky because I had already started making money with video and photography, so I had a camera. At that time, I was probably using a camera that was maybe $2,000. My lens was maybe a few $100. But at the same time, I was doing short form and I was just doing that with my phone. Content creation is one of those skills where even if you don't do it for the rest of your life, simply trying to do content and learning content makes you a better marketer, and this is gonna help you for the rest of your life. It truly is one of the most important skills that I think everyone should learn. Now, I don't want you guys to watch this video and think, oh, I just need to start doing a YouTube channel so that I can make money like Charlie. These concepts, they apply to basically any type of business. And as an entrepreneur that's done many different things, I know that you can make money in millions of different ways. The reason why I've done YouTube well is because I'm obsessed with YouTube. YouTube. I've been watching YouTube for almost 2 decades now. I watch it when I eat, I watch it in my free time, and I really prefer it over Netflix and some of the other streaming channels. Pairing that with my love for the actual topics that I talk about, that's why this works well for me. It might not work well for you, but I guarantee you there's something out there that works extremely well for your skills and your passions. It just might take some time for you to actually figure out what that was. And along that route, there's gonna be failures, there's gonna be times where you really question yourself and your path, but you just need to get through that path to find the goal at the end of the road. So if I were to start today, this is exactly what I would do. I'd pick one topic that I was passionate about. I'd make 50 to 100 different long form videos about that topic. After that, I would create some type of product or service that relates to that topic. This could be a course, this could be a software, this could be a service. And then I'd always have some type of call to action in my videos to my service or product or company. If you do that, I think you'll have the highest chances of seeing some type of success with YouTube. And it is a very simple concept, a very simple formula. Yeah, it's a little bit boring. It's not as crazy as going out there and making Mr. Beast type videos, but that's basically how you build a business that has marketing built in, right, with YouTube. That also greatly increases the amount of money you can make with your YouTube channel. So that's it for this video. I know this is a little bit different than what most of my videos are on this channel, but I really want to make this video because I think a lot of you are interested in YouTube. You might want to become a YouTuber yourself. And I think some of the things I shared in this video will really help you out. This is basically the type of video that I wish I could have seen when I started. So hopefully you guys got some value from it. Anyways, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.